Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 255. This day I choose to spend in perfect peace. What a beautiful declaration. This day I choose to spend in perfect peace. What is the alternative? Perfect suffering. All right, so paragraph 1 says, "It does not seem to me that I can choose to have but peace today, and yet my God assures me that his Son is like himself. Let me this day have faith in him who says I am God's son, God's child, God's daughter. And let the peace I choose be mine today. Bear witness to the truth of what he says." We want to make certain that when we choose peace, it becomes the proof, it becomes the witness of what God has decreed to be true. But we cannot experience the truth of who we are as perfect peace if we don't choose to align with it. That's why it doesn't seem like today we can choose peace, because we've got bills to pay, we've got, we're stressed out at work, we've got a sick child, we've got a dying parent, we're in the middle of a divorce, we're in the middle of a wedding, whatever it might think. We might think that is happening that can disturb our peace. We can always, in the middle of that, choose perfect peace by aligning with the truth that God said is true about us. But we have to use our free will to accept that, which means we can't fight against it. You can't be thinking unpeaceful thoughts, because that's going to lead to suffering. You have to align your thinking with God's truth about your peace. So you got to look for what is peaceful in this moment. Ground yourself inside of, if I'm in the mind of God, then I'm safe. So we have to create this practice of owning that if we want perfect peace, we have to choose it. So God's Son can have no cares and must remain forever in the peace of heaven. And this is true. Our ego tells us that we have all these things to worry about. But we've got to get really clear about where we reside. And we reside in the mind of God as pure consciousness. We are non-physical beings having a physical experience. We have to align with that non-physical aspect of ourselves, because that's what God is. God is not a physical being. God is expressed through all of these physical beings here, through everything that you see, through the stars, the planets. All of that is God expressed, but what God is pure non-physical consciousness. So we've got to acknowledge that inside of that eternal consciousness is where our peace is going to come from. We got to know that is our natural state of beingness. So in his name, I give today to finding what my Father wills for me, accepting it as mine and giving it to all my Father's sons along with me. When you tap into that perfect peace because you acknowledge that it is yours, then you become the presence of that, and that's how we can give it to others. We give them permission to do whatever they're doing, and it cannot shift our peace. It cannot pull us out of our center. And that's a gift that we give them, because in them not being able to pull us out of our center because we hold it, we give them permission to not be judged by us, to not be condemned by us, to not be feared by us, and that's the gift that we give them. Our peace releases them from our judgments. Isn't that what, that's what's so wonderful about aligning with our perfect peace. We get to experience it, and then we get to be witnesses for others of what's possible, while at the same time they're not being attacked. Paragraph 2. This is the prayer. "And so, my Father, would I pass this day with you. Your Son has not forgotten you. The peace you gave him still is in his mind, and it is there I choose to spend today." Basically, God, I'm going to spend the day with you. I have not forgotten you. I am remembering that you are within me. You are in my mind. And when I close my eyes and I remember that I am non-physical and connected to you, always have been, always will be, I return to my peace. I know my eternalness. I recognize that there is nothing in this world that can affect me. I can have an experience of it temporarily, but I reside in God's mind forever and forevermore. That's where my eternalness comes from. That is where I access my perfect peace. So if you don't get it done in this lifetime, you've got another one to do it in. If you make a mistake in this one, forgive yourself, because we're operating at the level of ego, making mistakes all day long. So the Course in Miracles is giving us a chance to have those holy instances where we forgive ourselves and release ourselves from guilt, from shame, from fear, from suffering. That shift returns us to the perfect peace that we have to choose to experience. Thanks a lot.